One of the other interesting things while they're doing this is 2 Stony Silence in Jarvis's main deck also, and a Pyroblast.
Yep. So people have been calling this deck Silence Mentor. It doesn't play the full. We talked about the full complement of Moxes.
Yeah.
It is playing. It's going to play Lotus and the 2 on color Moxen. Just to try and capitalize on including Stony Silences. It's not setting itself up to be.
I count 6 cards in Jarvis's main deck that I think are dead in this matchup, though. So we have Mental Missteps, we have Pyroblast, and we have Mindbreak Trap, unless Jesse has like one of those turn 1 explosive plays like you had mentioned. So,
Well, it could be. So if Jesse's playing Phyrexian Metamorph, there's the corner case where you're able to counter the Phyrexian Metamorph,
right.
since it's a blue spell. But and Jesse, usually people are only playing 1 Metamorph. Jesse's playing 1. So there's the shot for Pyroblast to matter. As far as Mental Misstep, it's good enough that you're going to play it every time you're going to have it in your deck. You're going to accept that in some matches it's not doing a lot of work. Sometimes you can counter a Soul Ring.
Right.
Just hope for stuff like that. So
look at this. I want to say that Jesse is favored in game 1 because of the number of weak spells in Jarvis's main. Post sideboard, though, Jesse is going to have to face down Jarvis's 3 Disenchants and a 3rd Stony Silence. So there's more.
And Jarvis is going to bring in a basic Plains just to help with the
pretty important
susceptibility to Wasteland.
Yes. So
We saw that library.
We're seeing Jesse has 2 Ancient Tombs, a Thord of Amethyst, and a Mana Crypt out. He have a Tangle Wire, 2 of them, looks like a Trinisphere and a Revoker. So he can shut
the
down.
Revoker is exceptionally important right now.
Oh yeah, shutting down that Jace, very good. And on top of that, let's play either a Trinisphere or a Tangle Wire and just keep Jarvis from playing spells for a while. Now let's see what he does. He's going to take a lot of damage to himself, though. 2 Ancient Tombs as the manas, and Mana Crypt sitting on the table for
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. So he's going to have to figure out how to make this game work with not a lot.
So we went with Trinisphere, which
like
is
that?
the best spell in the workshop deck, but
Yeah.
right now it's not turn 1. Jarvis is already on 2 land. It's going to do a similar amount of work as the Thorn would.
Looks like it worked out for him.
But yeah, unless Jarvis has that 3rd land, he can't play Moxen, he can't play anything else. And the fact that Revoker is going to shut down the Jace.
Yeah, we just drew the copy creature here.
Phyrexian Metamorph.
Probably going to make another Revoker, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Get more aggro in there and see what Jarvis is going to do. He's going to take 4 more damage to play the second Revoker, too. Is kind
He
of funny.
will.
I almost hope he just names Jace again, in case one of them
Reasonable.
dies. Yeah. Because naming something in the blind here, not great. You're not likely to hit something.
So he ended up going with Tangle Wire, which is actually okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
Phyrexian Metamorph, as we're looking at this, doesn't have a ton of great targets that put a ton of extra pressure. He doesn't have a big creature to copy. He doesn't have something like a Fleet Wheel Cruiser. And in this case, now that he's played the Tangle Wire, he is going to be able to metamorph the Tangle Wire as needed and keep time walking.
Over. But he needs to race with the Revoker versus the Mana Crypt. So it's 2 damage versus 1.5.
It's interesting to me that he chose to tap the Trinisphere.
Because it turns it off.
The Trinisphere is
yeah, only while it's untapped.
Is not working at the moment. So he drew another Revoker, which is not a
bad one. That increases his clock. That helps him to race his own Mana Crypt if he needs to. I want to see him play that here. Only costs 2, so you don't even have to use your Ancient Tomb, which is nice. Let's see if he names Jace as well. Yeah, I think maybe Jesse should have tapped one of his Ancient Tombs. Probably didn't need both.
Oh, I guess he wanted to leave the Mana Crypt up. I don't think those Ancient Tombs are going to do much work for him the rest of the game.
Yeah.
With him at 9,
right.
There's no not a lot of upside. Jarvis double checking.
Yep. Here we're going to find out if he named same creature. Or not. Jarvis is taking full advantage of the fact that Trinisphere is tapped. And he did not. He named something else.
Hey.
Reverker's on deck, faded. Okay. And this means that this Jace is going to -2 to make this Revoker not attack for any. So the clock is gone. And Jarvis potentially has a chance again. I think Jarvis might win because of Jesse's Mana Crypt now. I'm calling that prediction ahead of time.
I'm excited.
Something that Jesse can do if he gets lucky with coin flips is play his Metamorph on his own Revoker and shut down the Jace that's flipped now.
Sure.
And you have to name Jace, is it Telepath Unbound?
Yep.
That's a funny
Have
one.
to name the full
yeah.
the full name correctly.
Naming the backside, not the front side.
You can't just say that Jace there.
Yeah. Mox Sapphire was drawn for Jesse. Strip Mine happened on an Ancient Tomb. That's a weird play for Jarvis.
I think he's kind of automatically assuming that he wants to keep Jesse off mana, but with him at 9, I know Jarvis doesn't have any pressure on the board and doesn't really have any way to put pressure on Jesse.
I mean, Jesse has to take 4 here and play Revoker, right? So he can't play that. Trinisphere's on the table.
Well, can't play it without using Ancient Tomb, which
Right.
changes the value proposition just a little bit. Now Jarvis is going to be in a tough spot here because he chose to Gush, making that Tangle Wire for 2 actually effective.
Right. I don't think Jarvis plans on playing anything else. I think he's planning on just surviving until Jesse dies.
Reasonable.
This is where I think you have to chance playing the Metamorph on your own Revoker. Shutting down Jace and just trying to clock Jarvis out and hoping you win the coin flips.
Mm-hmm. That gives Jesse a 4-turn clock. Or no, it doesn't because of Jace. Jace, if he's not flashing things back, he's going to be able to shut down one of the Revokers.
Right.
Unless the second Revoker's naming it, of course.
So these rolls keep coming up odd, and I don't see them changing life total, so I think Jesse's been getting pretty lucky so far. Mishra's Factory, that's actually a decent draw. That lets him play the Seat of the Synod.
Yep, another playtest card.
Yeah, more playtest cards. And you can start casting stuff without taking more damage. Funny, we don't see Karn Silver Golem anymore. That used to be a fun way to get rid of your own Mana Crypt.
Sure.
Along with, of course, eating all your opponent's Moxes. And being the biggest 08 blocker you've ever seen. Is he? He's playing a Karn. Oh, wow. Is this old school? Yes, he
I
is
am excited.
playing one. Wow. Well, I hope it comes. Let's see it. Alright, Jarvis is back on casting cost mana. With Trinisphere out, he's going to be trying to play a spell sometime soon here. Odd again. Wow. I think that's 5 times he's faded it.
I view Mana Crypt as a cruel magic card,
Yeah.
but it's working out for Jesse.
It really is. I think the math is in his favor now.
It very much is, especially with the Academy, because now he's going to be able to get in with Mishra's Factory as well.
So let's play a second Tangle Wire and activate Factory. Or not play the Tangle Wire. Interesting.
Maybe he just goes, oops.
I think that was an oops.
Yeah, there's no reason not to play that Tangle Wire there.
It probably won't cost him because there is still Thorn and Trinisphere out. And that's a lot to ask Mentor to play around.
And the question of the day, does this Mentor deck have balance?
Touche.
I am not seeing it.
Yeah, neither am I. Not in there.
So unfortunately, even if Jarvis drew something like a Swords, Trinisphere is going to stop him from Swordsing, buying it back with Jace.
Right. And Jarvis is essentially dead on board. Jesse is speed playing through. Jarvis looks like he just wants to make sure his opponent knows.
Yep, and there's the Tangle Wire we kind of wish we saw last turn. I think Jesse just kind of over-enthusiastically went to his combat step and looked back half a second later, like we all do.
Oh yeah, mana doesn't carry through.
But
all right, so game 1 went to Jesse, which was our prediction. I think you said that you want Mentor to win, even though you said you were.
No, I mean
the bad guy.
I'm rooting against Mentor all day.
Okay, against Mentor all day, so we're
Absolutely
both on the Ravager shops list to be the victor. I think Jarvis has a lot better chance in game 2. Now that 6 bad cards are coming out and a lot of good cards are coming in.
He gets to bring in Disenchant.
Yeah, so 3 Disenchant coming in, 1 Plains coming in, 1 Swords coming in. He still needs a 6 card, the Stony Silence. That's probably the 6 for 6 swap. And I like when you see a deck designed by a really good player who knows what he's doing in a format, because you see that exactly. You see the number of cards that need to come out and a good number of cards that need to come in perfectly suited for the matchup. So he's clearly thought this out. That Rich Shea is a smart one. I hear he's a doctor.
He is.
And he's got a clear plan of attack on how to play this match.
So what do you think Jesse is going to bring in this match?
So I don't think Worm Coil is good. I don't think Jester's Cap is good. Ghost Quarter, maybe. He doesn't want Grafdigger's Cage.
I think Relic is fine here.
Yeah.
Because Relic does a lot of work shutting down Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Okay.
And cycles if you needed to, like we've seen.
I can see that.
I think Dismember's definitely coming in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dismember real good here?
I mean, -5/-5 pushes past any prowess triggers to get rid of Mentor.
Okay. I think the Crucibles are pretty decent. I like the Wasteland plan of locking out Jarvis. I think it presents more threats that have to be answered quick. I don't actually want Jesse to take out too many cards and bring in too many cards. I think his main deck plan is the plan that wins. I think if he overdoes it, then he risks losing it.
Sure.
So, let's look at what his main deck has that we don't want in the deck. And by the way, Foundry Inspector. We got
That's the card.
That's the card we like. Okay, so Karn Silver Gold is a little weak here.
I do like it though.
Yeah, you still want to keep it in?
That's just nostalgia speaking. I don't think.
Gotcha. Not many targets in Jarvis's deck to kill. Not many knocks in. It's not an effective blocker against a swarm of people.
I think if it was a creature for creature swap, I would much rather have Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah.
I know he's bringing in Disenchants. I know he's bringing in stuff to destroy
he also
artifacts.
has the swords, so I don't think Worm Coil is really where he wants to be either.
True.
So I do agree with you. Let's cut Karn. The 1 Metamorph, it's not going to copy anything off your opponent very effectively, and you risk getting the target that you want on the board disenchanted in response. So I think that's probably another cut that I'd like to make. The Revokers are great. The Steel Hellkite also is pretty. Yeah, you like it?
Powder kegging tokens all day.
Oh yes, okay.
You know that's how that's going to be used.
So we're going to risk keeping this in through the swords and the disenchants because of how powerful the upside can be.
Sure.
And Walking Ballista is great against tokens, so obviously we want to keep that too.
Yeah, I think he might even just be taking out something for the Dismember.
Maybe the Hangerback Walker slot. I'm not sure what that serves in this purpose here.
I mean, it's still a solid card on its own, but it's not a.
Yeah, it is.
His deck is not built around Hangerback Walker.
It's a singleton in Jesse's list. He's clearly not in love with it, so I can see that being a cut for him. So we have game 2 up now. It looks like we have several of those inspectors we couldn't remember the name of from before.
Foundry Inspector.
Foundries. Oh, mulliganing. Okay. Must have been no mana in the hand. So what's your coolest turn 1 Ravager hand?
Ooh. I have had some excellent turn 1 Ravager hands. I played against a Ravager Chops deck a month or so ago where they had turn 1 Foundry Inspector, Ravager, off
Ooh,
Workshop and Lotus,
pretty good.
and that was.
What's the best thing
I
you
did not
could
win that game.
imagine him realistically doing? So Workshop into Foundry Inspector, Soul Ring for free, and then
Well, you can always do very good 6 drops turn 1. You know, you can hit 6 mana no problem. You can go first
Yeah.
turn Steel Hellkite, would be something that he would love to have.
sure,
But if you're talking Foundry Inspector,
Soul Ring, and then Transfer.
you know you can go.
Let's do that.
Well, oh my god, you can go what Mana Crypt into Mana Crypt and Workshop with a couple Foundry Inspectors, and then
Yeah.
basically whatever you have left in your hand
out
is
your whole
probably
hand.
free.
Yeah. I like seeing what decks that do this sort of thing instead just dump their whole hand out and go aggro.
Hmm
I always think that's pretty cool.
So Jarvis is led with a Gataxian Probe.
See,
and
the Urza lands I assume are workshops.
Probably.
So
We've got a Trinisphere. That's what the back of this
turn 1 workshop.
this
Trinisphere,
keep is
that's-
on that Trinisphere there.
That's a great 6. That's where he wants to be. A little land heavy. He probably doesn't want the Ancient Tomb.
Yep, he does have a factory though, which serves that
Yep.
dual purpose. And Jarvis has
Library, okay. Oh, Ghost Quarter. So maybe taking Jarvis off that library, you think?
well, I think Trinisphere is still the right
Right avenue?
move because next turn if
Force the
Trinisphere resolves, he's not doing anything. He'll get the one card off library, but then you'll be able to Ghost Quarter and
Yeah, that
Get
makes
rid of that.
sense. I like that line. I'm with you. It's either Force the World and library is no good
I mean
anymore.
turn 1 when in doubt. You know, Jarvis did not play a bunch of artifact mana. You know, he's got 1 land in play. Trinisphere is still a very valid
What do you
turn 1 play.
What do you think about these Ghost Quarters with Jarvis having 2 islands main deck and a plains on the sideboard?
Well, it's just another strip effect, and you never know how many basics your opponent is going to play. 3 basics is definitely a heavier complement of basics than I'm used to seeing.
Jesse did agree with you.
I think Ghost Quarter the library here is the only path
Okay.
because it's going to let Jarvis draw. You know, just get card after card after. He'll make all his land drops and he'll push past Trinisphere.
Sure, yeah.
And when
there's
Jesse has such a
no
slow
pressure.
start,
I think this is one of the weaknesses to where I feel Jesse's list is because he's playing 1 Hanger Backwalker, for instance. He's got less threats to pressure Jarvis into doing something quicker.
so he plays Revoker, and he named Dak Fade in the last game. So Jarvis is playing 3 Dak Faden. I actually named Jace.
Jason Rinsbride?
Yeah, I think Jace is the better card to name because Jesse doesn't have anything crazy that, like, if he steals the Trinisphere, there's still a Trinisphere in play.
Right.
You know, it's not impacting the board at all.
I think he's worried about his Ravager being stolen, or his Revoker being stolen.
Sure.
And there's the Mentor.
Oh, man. Now it's a whole other game.
Tangle Wire is an interesting piece. I think you attack for 2 here.
You definitely attack for 2 because with Jarvis tapped out, there's no way for him to play a spell. And
Right.
I will trade Phyrexian Revoker for Monastery Mentor
Any day.
all day, every day, if given the opportunity.
That is the kind of deal I want to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he's not attacking.
So we're going to see pretty much everything resolved because of Trinisphere being in play.
Right.
But definitely have the opportunity to attack for 2 if he wants to. So with Tangle Wire on the stack, Jarvis untaps and swords the
So Jarvis could have had
Revoker.
his prowess token untapped, right?
No, because he's doing it in response to Tangle Wire.
So float mana, let Tangle Wire resolve.
Right, if he did that,
sense.
then
Yeah.
right. But
So-
since he chose to cast it in response to the
Whether our opponent playing a factory, possibly relevant, maybe something at least to consider.
Sure.
Probably not super important. Something for people at home to know if they're playing this deck and in that situation that they can
Yep.
have that happen.
there are plenty of fun ways to play around Tangle Wire.
Right. they're discussing about how Dismember works underneath a Trinisphere.
Yep. Monastery Mentor puts in such work getting around Trinisphere and Tangle Wire, or not Trinisphere, but Tangle Wire, just generating permanence. Now, if Jarvis leaves only 2 lands up, obviously he's going to have another land to play.
Yeah, I think it's just better to tap the creatures. There's no reason to get in a point or two with Jesse at 22.
I
really
tend to agree with you.
Be able to cast stuff and get ahead. But if Jarvis has his whole turn mapped out and he thinks there's no variance for what he draws, then I could see him trying to just get 2 more free points in.
Yeah, like if you have a land, I saw a Mox Ruby in his hand. If he's going to spend the turn making his land drop and playing a Mox Ruby and saying go, so be it. Then might as well get in for 3 with the prowess trigger.
At the very least, I like that Jarvis takes the 30 seconds to think about what is the better choice there.
Mm-hmm. And there's that land drop. Now, if I'm Jarvis, I'm not fetching for the planes he's brought in. You want that to still be live for Ghost Quarter.
I'm surprised he got a Volk, though.
I think it depends on what he cares about. If he cares more about protecting Dak Faden and the ability to cast that.
Sure.
But he has the Ruby in his hand,
yeah,
so he's got plenty of access to red mana.
That's what we were discussing was his play for the turn, so
yeah.
I was fully expecting Tundra. Not even playing the Ruby. Bottom, that was pretty quick.
Well, at the point where he's got 5 lands in play, I'm pretty comfortable with
Jarvis being the favorite here and probably winning.
Yeah, well, yeah. Mentor is great. I'm just going to beat the dead horse and just keep going with that. You know, it's going to invalidate Tangle Wire as a card in terms of stopping him from casting spells.
I think a Walking Ballista would be the only top deck I could see affecting this game here now.
Any impact, yeah.
And that Walking Ballista would be very large.
Absolutely. So tapped his workshop to probably play. That's probably a Mox Ruby.
Yeah, that's definitely a Mox Ruby.
And then finally having the Dismember and the ability to cast it. Trinisphere creates so many interesting interactions.
Yeah.
You know, with you remember Scepter Chant back in the day?
Oh yeah.
So Isochron Scepter is a card that can imprint a card and then put a copy on the stack. And Trinisphere makes you pay 3 more mana for the copy of the card. So you have to pay 2 to activate Scepter, and then another 3.
Good times.
It was excellent. Not being played in Vintage, though. So.
Scepter Chant was an interesting deck. Yeah, Jarvis has gotten enough permanents on the board that, like I was saying, if this isn't Walking Ballista
Jesse needs his needs a Walking Ballista off the top here.
Raftigger's Cage. Now, why do you suppose he brought that in? Snapcasters and Jace Grid's Prodigies enough to make that card worth it?
You know what? If he's taking out a card he feels is not going to do anything, sure. There's some marginal benefit to it.
Okay. I'd have much preferred it to be Relic, like you were saying.
Right.
So as much as Jarvis is doing the right things not to get locked, he's not applying a whole lot of pressure yet. I think we're going to start to see that change, though.
Unfortunately, he's not wasn't able to counterspell and protect the Mentor.
Right.
He's got to think about his options before deciding what to discard.
He's first putting 3 mana aside for the Trinisphere, probably for his Ponder. Ooh, Stony Silence. question. So it's hard to see Jarvis's graveyard, but Jace was activated. We're not sure if a card went to the yard. Let's find that out soon. We have our floor judges checking on that now.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough to see for the 1 inch between his hand and
Right.
off screen for us.
Off screen. Yeah. At least most of the battlefield is on screen. We'll take this one this time.
Jarvis is definitely doing better than Joe Marucci and keeping all his permanents where we can see them.
All right, looks like we just conceded. We're going on to the next one. So I wonder if they're going to mention anything to him about the discard, if that was something that was missed. We can find out about it later. It's probably just a warning. I don't think it'll affect.
Yeah, in this scenario, it certainly didn't have any
yeah.
any impact if he did
I'd
forget
like
to.
See what Jesse said worded out, just to make sure he didn't make errors. Of course, it's probably a lot of opinion based, but like if I see a walking ballista in that sideboard, I'm going to be like,
Now he's going to want any and every creature removal he's got.
yeah. I especially would like to see him cast a Ravager. I've yet to see that come out. I feel like we're only seeing the classical lock pieces of shops and not the aggro that we want to be seeing. I want to see these Foundry inspectors doing work. I want to see them solving crimes. Inspecting like a boss.
Just opening up the floodgates of.
With a name like Foundry Inspector, don't you expect it to make a clue somehow?
No.
No? I do. I do love sacrifice.
You just want more clues.
Yeah, I cut Tireless Tracker from my standard deck, 4-color cat, and it was very sad. I was like, rationally, I know this is right, but every part of me is just screaming, no. All right, so shuffling up for game 3, presenting, and let's see what their openers look like. Let's see if we get a 2 7-card keeps.
That'll be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, it's weird how Vintage, I think, has more mulligans than most formats.
Make a joke about it being the early game.
Yeah.
You know.
This is where I say variance.
Yeah, right.
That's right, Internet. I said it.
At least you didn't say sequencing.
Okay, here's the things we wanted to see.
I see lands and spells for Jesse.
Yeah, you can do for turn 1 Foundry and Grafdigger's Cage, I guess. Might as well put that out, but and then turn 2 Lodestone Golem and Revoker probably. If you're Jarvis, you're pretty happy to see that Grafdiggers, right?
Yeah, I think that that's coming into play a little bit with Jace Vryn's Prodigy. That's coming into a little bit if he's playing Snapcaster Mage, which a lot of mentor decks do play 1 or 2 Snapcasters. I don't think Jarvis is playing one though. So he's got to be real happy to see that.
Oh yeah. And it's easy to pitch Jace when you see the cage. You think you would have led with the Revoker? Just in case Jarvis bit with a counter?
No, I think Revoker resolves every time. The only time I think when it's right to counter Revoker is when you have something in play that it's going to shut down that you care about. Like if you had Jace in play, sure, then you're forced to wanting to effectively protect your Jace.
I wonder if this is me. Am I holding Tangle Wire for a single turn there? I'm trying to play it on this turn instead.
He doesn't have any Thorn or Sphere effects. He doesn't have anything that's slowing Jarvis down. So he doesn't want Jarvis to go have a random off-color Mox and be able to play a Mentor.
What's the point in going Hellbent here? Why are we
playing the land and the Ruby?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any. Well, it's not like you're going to be holding Force of Will as a Workshops deck. It's not.
Sure.
It's not like the only threat I think you can bluff there is maybe another Tangle Wire. You want them to worry about that, but then if you have it, you have it. You don't, you don't. I don't think Jarvis is going to play any differently.
I want to say if this is like that 5/3 haste vehicle, Jesse's probably got this. I think if he continues to draw relevant spells, also, he's got this. Wasteland is very good here. No, no Fleetwheel Cruiser in Jesse's list. He's not hip to the tech.
Yeah, definitely the Ravager shops
Yeah, so he's
deck, and not the car shops that we saw Nick DeJean and John Garris playing earlier.
So he didn't get to put Jarvis to 1, which is very relevant because Jarvis has 2 fetches. But Jarvis is facing down 2 lethal threats because of Jarvis's fetches now. So it's going to be really tough. Let's see if Jarvis can put some pieces together here. And I think even that Tango Wire for 1 is going to be very relevant. Jarvis can crack 1 of his fetches, go to 3, play a Mentor, trade off with a Foundry, go to 1 by the Revoker. But instead chooses to play Jace as a chump blocker. I think I would have liked to see him play the Mentor and not the Jace. Bought himself more turns.
Just a trade.
Get another threat off the table. Ooh, what was that?
That is some exemplary glare.
Sword of Amethyst.
Okay, so I like the play. He needs to impact Jarvis's ability to play Magic in some way.
Right. I think Jarvis is probably done here. Yeah, based on his hand, I think that's all she wrote. Yep, there's the concession.